I'm Kaylee, and this is my February reading wrap-up. I read a whopping total of 47 books in February. I read 1 classic, 11 nonfiction books, 6 middle grade, 2 graphic novels, 23 picture books, 4 children's nonfiction, and 40 out of the 47 books were review copies that I received from publishers. I have been trying not to read quite so many review copies from publishers. One of my goals is that I want to read my own books, but that does not appear to be happening. Before I tell you a little bit about all the books that I read, I want to make sure that you know that Books for MKs is a charity that donates books to missionary kids. Today's MK shout out goes to Andres, who is 14 years old and lives with his family in Mexico. He loves books about science and historical fiction. If you want to donate to Andres and children like him, you can donate to the Books for MKs charity at GoFundMe.com. And please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. The one classic that I read in February was Madame Bovary. I really hated this book. Madame Bovary cheats on her husband and hides her adulterous affairs, and she runs up a lot of debt, and I just hated her character. I couldn't find a single character in the entire book that I liked. She has a very deep and complex character, and I thought the story as it was well written, but I just hated her as a person and I hated her story, so I gave this 2 stars. I finally finished reading Timothy Keller's book on prayer, experiencing awe and intimacy with God. This has quotes from famous Christians in history like Martin Luther and St. Augustine. There are chapters about how to meditate on God's word and an analysis of the Lord's Prayer with elements like confession and adoration and thanksgiving and petition. I really loved this book. The material is so deep that I would have to read a little chapter and then kind of wait a week and sort of digest everything that I had read and think about it for a while. And then I could go on and read the next chapter, and that's why it took me 3 months to read it. But in the end, I loved it and I gave it 5 stars. I read the 6th book in the Septimus Heap series by Angie Sage, Dark. In this book, the stinking Marin Meredith is back, threatening the castle with the power of the dark. And only Septimus and his dragon Spitfire and the princess can stop that idiot Marin. I really loved this book. The plot is full of action and twists and turns. I love the magic. I love the characters. I love how they grow and learn through the series. My only trouble was the vast number of side characters. They are all quirky and sweet and memorable, but there are just so many of them. I can usually follow about 20 characters, but after that, I start to get lost. But I just adore this series. The intertwined plots are so complex and imaginative. It's really good storytelling with a writing style that puts the reader right into the middle of the action. And it tugs at your heartstrings. I gave it 4 stars. I finally finished reading the Magic Shop books by Bruce Coville. I've been reading these completely out of order, so the final one that I actually read is Jeremy Thatcher, Dragon Hatcher, the 2nd book in the series. Jeremy is given a dragon egg, and he has his hands full trying to take care of a young dragon hatchling who requires constant attention. I thought this was hilarious and heartfelt. I gave it 4 stars. I finally finished reading all of the Pippi Longstocking books by Astrid Lindgren. The last 2 are Pippi Longstocking short stories, Pippi Longstocking in the Park and Pippi on the Run. Both of these are hilarious and weird, just like Pippi herself, and I gave both of them 3 stars. And I read a graphic novel that a friend recommended to me, Castle in the Stars. The first volume of Castle in the Stars is the space race of 1869. A boy and his father are summoned to Bavaria, where the king commissions them to design an airship, a skyship that is powered by ether and will take them to the stars. I really loved this graphic novel from start to finish. It has beautiful artwork and a suspenseful plot full of spies and sabotage and excellent characters. I cannot wait to read more from this series, and I gave it 5 stars. And now we get into the review copies. All of the next books that I'm going to talk about are all books that I received from a publisher in exchange for a free and honest review. I completely fell in love with Premeditated Myrtle. I love how clever the title is. Instead of Premeditated Murder, it's Myrtle, because the main character, her name is Myrtle. It's so cute. Myrtle is the daughter of a court prosecutor, and she follows her father's cases with alacrity. She loves to read the police reports and do her own little bit of investigating. She studies toxology and wants to be a detective. When her next-door neighbor is murdered, Myrtle is sure that she can solve the case. But how is a proper young lady supposed to adhere to the rules of etiquette and go running around in the middle of the night following up clues? Only with the help of her redoubtable governess, Miss Judson. One of the things that made me fall in love with this book is the incredible character development. I was fully invested in the character growth and their story from the very first page. The writing drew me in and got me emotionally hooked into those characters. I was massively curious about every clue. I couldn't wait to read the next chapter and the next. I wanted to see how all these disparate clues finally came together for a rational solution. I was so pleased with the complexity of the mystery, and yet it all came together for a wonderful ending. Myrtle herself is a fantastic main heroine. She's energetic and emotional and incredibly intelligent. I absolutely adore her strong relationships with her father and Miss Judson. I wish I could give this book 10 stars, and I am really looking forward to the next book in this series. I read The Ravenous Gown and 14 More Tales About Real Beauty. These fairy tales focus on daring young men and women who want to be appreciated for their personality and their virtues and their inner beauty instead of just outer beauty. I really loved that these fairy tales use the old tropes with the dragon and the knight and the princess, and then turn everything upside down and surprise you with plot twists where the maiden saves herself. Each fairy tale is short but powerful, with meaningful messages of hope and acceptance. I gave this 5 stars. I read the Everything Princess book, 101 crafts, recipes, stories, hairstyles, and more. This includes classic fairy tales, how-to instructions for making your own tiara, and how to throw the perfect princess party, as well as lessons on princess etiquette, and how to avoid evil enchantments. It is delightful with many positive messages about kindness and compassion and gratitude and about having inner beauty. I gave this 5 stars. I also read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which is a book and puzzle set. This box set of a paperback book and a 500-piece puzzle is absolutely beautiful. I love the artwork and even the magnetic closed treasure box that everything comes in could just be its own little treasure box. The whole set is really special. I gave it 5 stars. It's just a lovely gift. And now I have a whole bunch of children's picture books to tell you about. I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quickly. Search and Find Toddlers Around Town. It has cute illustrations, adorable search and find scenes. I gave it 5 stars. Allegro, a musical journey through 11 masterpieces. A little boy named Allegro goes on a magical journey to discover beautiful music. I read this with my 2-year-old niece and she loved it. She wanted to read it again and again and push all the buttons to hear the music. She really loved matching up the picture on the page and then the picture on the button so she would know which button to push. I gave this 5 stars. It is just lovely. The Nuff by Veronica Waldrop. A picture book with a positive message that you are enough. A unicorn with a broken horn learns to appreciate herself and accept that she can make mistakes and be imperfect and still be wonderful. I gave it 4 stars. Like a Shooting Star. A little boy mistakenly wishes on a firefly that his father will come home safely from a war. The firefly tries to make his wish come true. It's emotional and touching, and I gave it 4 stars. It's a great big colorful world. This has lots of random items that are all grouped together by color. It was too chaotic with really aimless illustrations and confusing text. I only gave it 2 stars. Willow the Wildcat. 2 wildcat kittens are learning how to hunt along with their mother. They hunt for fish and mice in the Scottish forest, and they learn to get along. I gave this 5 stars. The Phoenix of Persia. Prince Zal is left for dead when he's a baby, and the magical Phoenix of Persia takes him into her nest and raises him along with her chicks. I really liked this traditional story from Iran. However, I didn't like the illustrations of the faces of the characters. The rest of the artwork I liked, but their faces look distorted somehow. Their mouths are crooked, and it gives them a really creepy look. The only thing I didn't like was that part of the artwork, so I gave it 4 stars. Hey Diddle Diddle is a board book that takes Hey Diddle Diddle, the Cat and the Fiddle to a whole new level. There are new verses, new characters, and beautiful die-cut openings for the moon as we watch it go from a crescent moon to a full moon. This board book is adorable from start to finish, and I gave it 5 stars. Wheels at Work in the City. Each page begins with an illustration of a closed truck or bus, and then the reader can lift the flap to reveal what was inside the bus. A very cute and bright book. I gave it 5 stars. Wake Up, Let's Play. 2 children wake up and decide to play a whole bunch of imaginative games. I like the soft style of the illustrations and the vibrant colors. The children look like they're just having the time of their lives playing and imagining together, and I gave it 5 stars. My Mama. A little elephant boy describes how his mother loves to play with him and take care of him. The storyline is cheeky and irreverent, but it does lack a linear plot. I liked the soft artwork and the adorable characters, but I just ended up giving it 3 stars. 10 Little Farm Friends. As we count down from 10, each animal is shown in a die-cut opening, and then when they go to join their family in the barn or in the meadow, then we count down until only 1 animal is left. It has beautiful details in the illustrations and a fun rhyming text. I gave it 5 stars. Tickled Pink. How friendship washes the world with color. A pink flamingo is bullied because of his pink color, but then he finds friends who accept him for who he is. It has a positive message of friendship, and I gave it 5 stars. Princess Jill Never Sits Still. Princess Jill is so energetic that her parents, the royal king and queen, just don't know what to do with her. This book is hilarious and fun. I gave it 5 stars. Max and Sam. Max and Sam are the best of friends until one day their friendship is ruined with a big fight. Can they find a way to reconcile and save their friendship? It's adorable and imaginative. I gave it 5 stars. Louis and Tabitha. Louis is a suave cat who lives on the streets, and he falls in love with Tabitha, an elegant house cat. How can the two ever be together with the doors that separate them? This story is really clever with truly gorgeous artwork. I gave it 5 stars. I wish I could give it 10 stars. It's one of the favorite picture books out of all of these. This one is definitely a favorite. Unicorn and Horse. Horse is plain and frumpy, and he's jealous of the beautiful unicorn who eats pink cupcakes and makes rainbows. Unicorn dances around spreading cheer and sunshine, but Horse just eats hay and scowls at everyone. Can these two ever resolve their differences and become friends? This book is so hilarious. I just laughed and laughed at the illustrations. The story is just silly and wonderful. I gave it 5 stars. And this is another favorite. I can't decide which one I love more, the Louis and Tabitha or this one, but they're both just so great. Little Fingers Ballet. This board book features finger holes where the reader can make little leg movements, for the ballerinas in the illustrations. There are even little finger tights that you can put on your fingers to match the costumes of the dancers. My little niece loved dancing her fingers along on every page. She never wanted to stop playing with this book. I gave it 5 stars. She gave it 5 stars. We loved it. Evie and the Strawberry Balloon Ride. Evie, the Strawberry Fairy, has a special entry for the Strawberry Fair, and she makes some new friends on her journey to the fair. This book was just enchanting and beautiful. So charming. I gave it 5 stars. Really a lovely story. The Seedling That Didn't Want to Grow. Ant and Ladybird find a seedling that hasn't grown as it should, and they help the young plant find a sunshiny place to bloom. It's adorable and beautifully illustrated. I gave it 4 stars. Good Night Whispers. A father whispers words of affirmation to his little baby daughter every night as she falls asleep. And through every step of her life as she grows up, she hears his voice encouraging her. This is such an emotional book and very sweet. I gave it 5 stars. I did receive a graphic novel from a publisher, Batman Overdrive. Young Bruce Wayne is weeks away from getting his driver's license, and he decides to repair his father's classic car. This one has great illustrations and wonderful character development, and I gave it 5 stars. And now for some nonfiction that I read that I received from publishers. Essential Oils for Soothing Anxiety. Remedies and Rituals to Feel Calm and Refreshed. This has recipes for using essential oil blends in aromatherapy, facial toners, body scrubs, linen spray, hair conditioner, perfume, all kinds of stuff to calm your nerves and to help you stay focused. It includes a lot of tips for breathing meditations and even journal prompts to help relieve stress. I already tried one of the recipes for a Take a Chill bedtime spray, and I love it. It has lemongrass and it has lavender, and it is just so yummy. I gave this book 5 stars. Once Upon a Word, a word dictionary for kids, building vocabulary through etymology, definitions, and stories. This is just right for sparking the curiosity of kids ages 8 to 14. It's clever and beautifully illustrated, and I gave it 5 stars. I wish that I had had a book like this when I was a kid. Creativity for Kids, 75 fun activities to promote creative thinking and self-expression. This has imaginative activities and fun illustrations. I gave it 5 stars. Bedtime Meditations for Kids. Quick, calming exercises to help kids get to sleep. This one has some soothing little games and imagination exercises with lovely, soft illustrations. I think if I was a restless kid, this would really help me. I gave it 5 stars. Let's Make Yoga Magic. This board book has interactive levers and wheels and little pop-ups that help teach children about different yoga poses. The text explains the yoga pose in very simple terms with just a couple of lines. I love it and gave it 5 stars. The Story of Abraham Lincoln. This children's book tells the history of Abe Lincoln from his childhood until his death. I like that the story is told with a simple writing style, and it has fun cartoon illustrations perfect for ages 7 through 10. I gave it 5 stars. Tricky Logic Puzzles for Adults. 150 difficult puzzles to challenge your brain. Each puzzle has clear instructions and a hint just in case you get stuck. This definitely got my brain working creatively and introduced me to some new styles of puzzles. I gave it 5 stars. I read Organic Aromatherapy and Essential Oils, the modern guide to all natural health and wellness. This book is perfect for anyone who wants to jump into using essential oils. The recipes are easy to follow. It gives you lots of really good instructions and information. I really like the way the book is organized with reliable information and a beautiful design. I gave it 5 stars. 14,000 Things to Be Happy About. This is a stream of consciousness list of just random things that you could be happy about. It's not really the type of book that you just sit down and read, and some of the things in it were not particularly things that I would ever be happy about. So I only gave it 3 stars. I guess it's a nice little thing, but No One Does It Like You. 78 illustrated affirmations for self-kindness. These affirmations and positive sayings are paired up with some designs and artwork. Some of them are good, but some of them were very strange. And some of them seem to be biased with these political ideologies. I only gave it 2 stars. "You are doing a freaking great job," and other reminders of your awesomeness. This book has 200 positive affirmations and encouraging sayings designed with beautiful graphics and fonts. This book is tiny, barely like 4 by 4 inches. So it's the perfect little pocket-sized gift. I gave this 4 stars. I read Yin Yoga, Essential Poses and Sequences for Balanced Energy. This book has clear instructions that are suitable for beginners, and it mixes Yin poses, which are poses of stillness, together with a few Yang poses, which are poses with more movement. I really loved the sets of yoga sequences that are organized by topic and for specific areas of the body. The artwork beautifully demonstrates each pose. I gave it 5 stars. I read The Women of the Bible and You. This is a horrible book that twists the Bible into humanism and adds in God sort of as an afterthought. This book teaches self-reliance to the point where humans are worshipped instead of God. I showed this book to my mother, who has been a pastor's wife for 40 years and has a degree from a Bible college. And she said, and I quote, "That's a bunch of baloney." And I have to agree. If I could give it 0 stars, I would, but as it is, Goodreads only lets me give it 1 star. It doesn't even deserve that. It deserves -1 star. Then I was like, okay, I need a better devotional. So I read the Bible in 52 weeks. This is a year-long Bible study designed for women. Each week has a list of both New Testament and Old Testament chapters to read, and a few encouraging paragraphs to point out some biblical lessons. There are journal prompts and little actions to take for the day, and sometimes there's a written prayer that you can pray for yourself. This book is full of peace and joy, and it is deeply rooted in the Bible and in truth. God is at the center of this book, and I gave it 5 stars. And those are all the books that I read in February. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what was your favorite book that you read in February. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.